Okay, so welcome back to Cracks in Postmodernity with our special guest, Vitaly Lopez. Who are you? Tell us about yourself.
Yay! Hi. What I can say? Let me see.
Where are you from?
I'm from Dominican Republic. I moved when I was 17 to St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. From there to Puerto Rico, and then from Puerto Rico to here, to New York.
All around the world.
All around the world. Basically, right now I'm doing my master's degree in fine art. I love communication. Part of my degree formation in Puerto Rico was additional concentration in radio and TV in art. And that's about it. That's what I can say.
So why do you make art? What does it mean to you?
Wow, when I make art, I think this is something that follows you. I cannot run away from that. It's something that is inside of me, you know? Yeah. I remember when I was 13, 14, this period of teenager when you are you and you don't want to do drawing, you want to have your personality and have the boyfriends and whatever. I stopped. But then for some reason I back to it when I was 18. And this is something that I cannot control. I cannot say, I'm not gonna paint today. I'm gonna take a pen and I'm just gonna scratch it. So I think it's more deep than tell you why or why I like it. Because some people think that I like art, but I do art. You know the difference between I do something of I like something. It's not something. Yeah, it's
art likes you.
Wow.
Art pursues you. Yeah.
Damn, it's deep, but in a kind of way. And it's something that I think I will be doing the rest of my life, maybe.
So we will have another conversation about art sometime soon.
Yeah.
But today, what are we going to talk about? A lot of things.
Music.
Music.
Yep.
We're going to talk about all of it. So we're going to get started. One of the things that we have talked about a lot is the kind of new style of singing, the new production in a lot of these younger reggaeton artists.
Yeah.
So some of I would say this. I saw a change when Balvin and Ozuna came out almost...
that was 2000, what?
2014?
13,
14 going into... I started to see, at least with the singing, a lot more smooth, more vulnerable kind of style, not as harsh. And some of the people today who are getting pretty big are kind of taking what they started and bringing it to an even further and kind of new direction. So some examples we've talked about: Rauw Alejandro, Sech, Dalex,
Bad Bunny. Yeah, that I remember that when J Balvin come to the industry of music, he said, okay, maybe I'm the only one who used the rainbow in the hair with different colors and the short pants and that kind of stuff, that interesting style. But Benito Bad Bunny, and was okay, there is two rainbow in the music now. They are special when they come together.
And so at first, in terms of the aesthetic, the physical appearance, it's you're seeing the multicolored hair, the painted nails, the tattoos all over, and it's pretty different from when reggaeton first became popular.
Exactly. And also having the figure of Daddy Yankee, of somebody so neutral, all with the same style, some respect, because the style of Daddy Yankee is being always like that. It's something so curious about it.
So now it's it's different, but then in terms of the music, you're noticing certain style of singing, of rapping that's more melodic, again, more vulnerable, more emotional. And it's not exactly new, because sure, you had Daddy Yankee, you had Wisin y Yandel, who were very harsh, when they deliver the lyrics, very intense. But it reminds me of lesser known acts like Rakim y Kenway, who were very melodic when they sing.
Right.
But the thing is, even though the style is that kind of smoother, vulnerable sound, some of their lyrics are super raunchy, super out there.
Right. Yeah. And I think in a kind of way, like those artists like come after Rakim and White, they have Rakim and White and Daddy Yankee as a base.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
so it's combining.
Yeah, they're trying to be original, but using they as an inspiration, of course.
Yeah, and what I like about it is that, so like, taking, for example, the single of Rauw Dos Catorce, so Valentine's Day, tomorrow. So
I didn't realize. Whoa!
See, that's what it's about.
I didn't realize. Okay.
At first, I didn't realize too. I was like, okay,
no
numbers.
Way. Okay.
But he's very direct with the lyrics. He's like, I want to have sex with you. That's what I want to do. But the way he says it, you see, there's like, maybe he's insecure about it. He's like, he wants it, but like, or is this well, I guess if he's singing to Rosalia,
right.
Is she going to like stay with him? Is she going to really love him while they're doing it? Like, you see that there's a confidence, but there's also a fear. So I think that combination, it's almost like this paradox, is very creative.
Yeah, because I don't know, maybe because he presented himself as like somebody who have feelings is something new, we can say, because Daddy Yankee, they're gonna tell you, yeah, and I'm gonna cry if you left me. Yeah. It's completely different, but it's the same sex thing, because Daddy Yankee was yo nunca me quiero atrás, or like no sé, baila o lo que sea. It's so different. It's a whole different.
Well, but he had songs like No Me Dejes Solo, but the way he said it, you don't get the sense that he's like afraid that she's gonna leave.
Right.
It's just like, oh, don't leave me. But like Rauw is like, no, like I need you.
Yeah. And he literally say it in some of his music, like tú eres quien me hace ilusionar, o que me eres mi inspiración. Y en uno de los premios, in one of this, I'm so sorry, in one of the, he received I don't know, he was in Spain, and Rosalia was the host of the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she was like, maybe who is the artist for the year? And she said, oh, Rauw.
My boyfriend.
Yeah. And when Rauw come and take the premio, had the word,
trophy.
He was like, thank you to Rosalia, my inspiration behind of my songs. Everybody was like, oh my god.
Do you think it's a real relationship, or are they just
is
it a show?
It
might be a publicity thing. I don't know.
Do you think so? Because one of his videos, before Rauw being who is Rauw now, he say one of his crushes Rosalia.
Yes. But also she sang background vocals on the first album,
right
before it was official.
I remember that. And also I don't think she is as like, he's more active in social media with her, and in contrast with Rosalia, she have his career. She career so like like is my thing. I want to keep working in my thing, and like, okay, Rauw, I don't know, can be fake. Maybe.
But it is getting them attention.
Exactly.
So it's working.
And also, please, I mean, the fans of Rauw and the fans of Rosalia, they are just dying because they're together. Oh my god, they look so cute together.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, and there is reason to talk about, oh my god, they're looking so amazing. Or there is another drama, because maybe you heard about it. Anuel.
Oh, yeah.
And
Carol.
Karol G. There is a whole different thing now, and there is a reason, because they are being controversial to go and see the music that she's doing and the music that he is doing, and you get more view, you get more attention. It's so interesting.
That's why I think a lot of these celebrity couples are like a publicity stunt, like, because then like now the fans are posting about it and it gets attention. It's like, is this real, or is it just...
But you know what it sucks can be, that they are using your intimacy to get attention, because relationship is something that is supposed to be personal. I
mean, I would imagine celebrities who are really in love would not be posting about it all the time, because it's like, oh, this really matters, like I gotta protect it in a sense. Right. So I don't know, but but I do find that about his singing interesting. And I think his first big single, Reloj, it's interesting because, again, very raunchy, very direct. Like, he's basically saying, I want to eat you all day long, and I wish there were more time on the clock for me to do it.
Yeah, that's when Anuel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, that's a, it's a vulgar thing to say, and yet the way he says it, it's like, I wish there were more time. Like, I wish I could have you completely, but there isn't enough time to, so it's
There's
like
something poetic about it.
there is. Like, again, it's this juxtaposition between being raunchy and direct, but also being vulnerable and poetic. So I do think it's creative, this kind of style that I'm seeing.
But this is my question about it. Like, why, for maybe this generation, every song that is related to sex or every song that is related to sexual thing is more, oh my God, yes, I want to listen to that. What do you think about that? Do you think it's because the topic is what is in the air? It's
sensational. We like sensational things, but when it lacks substance, it's like it's hot for a minute, there's hype, and then you move on. So I think it's possible to talk about those topics and have something meaningful behind it, but most people are just like, oh, I want excitement because it's, it's a distraction more than anything.
True, but like, you know how powerful is music, how powerful is energy. It's like me personally, like I hear one of those music and I'm like, I want to be in the disco. Like I want to be like, I just want to be with that person. I'm just thinking about that person that I want to be. Yeah. It's so powerful.
Yeah. And that's something we're going to talk about, that like these artists have the freedom to make whatever kind of music they're going to make, but we also have to ask who is listening.
Who is listening?
And what effect does it have? Because music is very powerful. We can't, like, it's an incredible force. It's an incredible form of art because of how it can captivate you.
Exactly.
And
also for the people that they don't know the history or don't know the reason behind, can be control of it.
And then it becomes a question of education. If we're not educated to look at art intelligently, then we're just taken over by it. We're not really freely engaging with the art.
Look what I think. I think that can be more deeper than that, or maybe I'm just in the surface, but example of it is Dembow, of course. Yes. In Dominican Republic, this is something that everybody's worried about, because Dembow is literally the typical topic that Dembow talk about: sex, obviously, drugs, and I'm gonna do this, and the sexual idea of the woman and the man who is gonna make that. So they are worried about, that's what the kids are listening to, go to the school and that kind of stuff. But like, also back to what you're saying, the education, because I don't think if you listen at Dembow, you hear in America, it's completely different from people maybe with your same age in Dominican Republic. Yeah. Like, they're gonna take it the same way. It's just so interesting.
Yeah. So while we're on Dembow, let's jump to El Alfa.
Yeah.
So we were saying that his lyrics are so kind of outrageous, so crazy, that it's very hard to take it seriously. So on one hand, like, you're talking about basically having oral sex with the grandma. Whoa. But it's funny though, because are you really gonna do that?
Exactly.
I would hope not.
Exactly.
But then, so it's like, it's so crazy that like, okay, we're not gonna go around and do these things. But also the creativity, the playfulness, because you're taking this title, La Mamá de la Mamá, so the mother of the mother, and then it's also a double meaning referring to oral sex. So like this playfulness with simple everyday topics, but then turning it into something else.
Yeah.
What were the other ones we said? So
like Este Te Mamaste. Este Te Mamaste, like this is the masterpiece. This song is a masterpiece, but like it's at the same way. Este Te Mamaste is like that you're gonna suck. Like
yeah.
It's like, what? How you're gonna, and also the beat of that song is like you're gonna move one part of your body, like with not something like Alfa is one of the artists that a lot of the people in Dominican Republic were thinking that he's not gonna make it where he is now, because obviously I think he not finished high school. I don't know about his education, but obviously life is getting him. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think it's the creativity, the playfulness, and again, it's like he's taking the song titles. Some of them are just so like mundane and silly. So like he has jarabe, he has jalapeno, dueño del bizcocho, and then he takes the cultural references. So Correos Lakers, Lobo de Wall Street, King Kong. So it's like you're taking everyday life, and then you say something really crazy sexual about it, and then you play. So it's like the playfulness of the concept, but also the way he says the words. It becomes an instrument in itself, the repetition of it.
Yep.
So I think like it's extremely creative.
It is.
And I don't take the sexual stuff seriously because, again, it's playful, but also like you have to recognize in art there's a space for fantasy that is separate from reality.
Absolutely.
So it's like you can't hold art to the same kind of moral standards that we do our behavior in everyday life.
Absolutely. It's like interesting to ask then why we doing that, you know? Like why he wanna get your attention, or why you gonna talk about that you have the drop, you have the point, you're gonna and also this is something about the rap. You can tell me more about it. Like in the rap culture there is a lot of gun and like I wanna do this and it's like you're not really gonna do that, but why you gonna present yourself as a
because we have ego. These drives that, you know, we have an animal drive in us. Like, yes, there's the rational, the human element, but there's always going to be this, you know, this irrational, sometimes violent, sometimes destructive drive that's within us. And we would hope that we don't express that in our daily relationships or daily life. So there has to be release. So art is a valid way to release, to sublimate these forces. But then the question becomes, who is listening to this art? Can they say, hey, like this is art, this is where we have fantasy and playfulness and creativity, and there's a line between this fantasy world and art and what we do in our everyday lives.
Right.
What about the younger people who aren't educated, aren't mature enough to say, I listen to this because it's funny, it's a release, and I don't want to go and do this to people in my real life.
Exactly.
So is it the parents' fault? Or is it El Alfa's fault?
That's a really... damn, God. It's like, that reminded me when we was talking before it started. It's like when Cardi B saying, who your parents supposed to like take control of what are you watching or what are you doing? Because... And also she said that she don't want that her daughter listens to her sons. That's really interesting. Because she is doing crazy stuff, but like as a model, she's like, no, I don't want my daughter to listen to me doing this and that. Listen, I think in a kind of way, when we do art, we want to separate for something that is not like us. Like, I know that as Vitaly, I don't like to be drinking all day. But I'm listening to Romeo Santos and I want to drink because bachata is something that I want to... Yeah, it's like me having two personalities. It's like, I'm for sure, I know that Alfa is not going to have this drug and gonna kill the guy and he have the all millions. No, he's not. Like, why are you trying to separate yourself? Like, so that's my question then. Art is honestly, because he's not being honest doing all that kind of stuff.
Well, but then it goes back to your question, why do we have these fantasies in the first place? Like, at a certain level, it's natural, and you want to find a healthy way to release it, but should some of it be better controlled? Like, should some of it be hidden? But then again, like, for a child, you could say what Cardi B said, that, like, you should not let children listen to it, but the reality is, with the internet, it's so accessible to kids. Like in the old days, your parents would have to take you to buy music. Now you just search it on the internet.
Exactly.
So is the artist responsible?
You know something really good about all this, like all this crazy thing that we are consuming is like it's great opportunity to talk. Like if my kids listen something that they're not supposed to be listening, but this is my great opportunity to me talk about, listen, that happened. This is what is going on. And he's like that. And
what does it mean? Like, why are they saying these things? And what does it mean for you? I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah, I think a healthy kind of relationship with the parent and the kid. It's not just like, don't listen to that, it's evil. But look, this is what they're talking about. Why are they doing that? Mm-hmm. Is this something we should do? Let's think about it rather than saying, don't ever do it, or just let them listen to whatever. But not all parents have that relationship with their kid.
No. You know? But in another side, we have Ozuna that's saying that he's not going to do something like that.
Ozuna, who has kids of his own.
Right.
But that's the thing. It's like you have people like Cardi who's like, I wouldn't let my daughter listen to my music. But then Ozuna's like, well, I don't make music that I wouldn't want my kid to listen to. I talk about things that will uplift kids. I talk about positive things.
Wait, it's easy to say that because now he's a really good. He's in a really good place. He have money. He have the house. He don't need the attention or money or more good music. He now have the control to do whatever. Maybe. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna talk about flowers now. Yeah, because kids. This is a good thing. Now there is a lot of kids who love Ozuna because he have a really good marketing with the osito.
Yes.
Right. He have a really good colors. He's changing his whole marketing, and it's so interesting to see that. It's so interesting.
Yeah. So since we're on Dembow, why don't we skip to Tokischa?
Right.
So. Okay. What do you see? What do you hear when you're listening to Tokischa?
Oh, Tokischa. It's funny because the first time that I saw his work, I was like, oh my God. Damn. I think she's the extreme artist who want what they're looking for. Like, I'm here and I want to make my mark here. Like, listen to me. Like, but being a woman, I think like... It's hard for Dominicans in the culture of Hispanic culture to see something like that. And you maybe have an idea what I'm talking about. Like, no, as a woman, you need to be at the house. You do clean the kitchen, cooking for us. No being dancing and having like underwear videos. She have a OnlyFans. She have a... Tokischa is like over the place. She's like, she's a real part of us, I think. But it's hard to like see it like that. Like, it's hard... as a woman say, yeah, I'm Tokischa too. It's hard to say that because it's like...
But do you want to be?
Damn. I don't think so. It is me personally.
So that's you personally.
Yeah.
But perhaps she speaks for some women. But is she truly free? Like, she represents like, I'm a liberated woman. I express my sexuality, but... Is she really free? I say maybe in the moment she feels free.
What do you mean?
Like when she's taking her clothes off and dancing provocatively and getting attention. Yeah, I think it feels empowering in that moment to just let it out and also get attention that feels good. But then my concern is like, so then what? Where does that go now? Like you have this excitement in the moment. It doesn't really... take you anywhere that really gives like a lasting value because at a certain point she's going to get old and no one wants to see it anymore.
Right.
So then maybe you want to let that out in the moment, but like as an artist you're going to have to evolve. As a person you have to evolve and start asking, well, what actually lasts? What really fulfills me in the long run as a person? Because just letting out your sexuality without any boundaries, like it doesn't take you anywhere in the long run.
I mean, for her, it's taken like to a place where she feels that she can do whatever she wanna. Like she think because she's doing all this movement in social media with these controversial photos. Yeah. Because that reason, she get contact with Rosalia, she get contact with J Balvin, and all those international artists. That one of the I don't remember what newspaper in the Dominican Republic asked about. Rosalia. Tokischa is a good representation of artists in Dominican Republic. Like those international Rosalia and J Balvin coming to the art to record with Tokischa as the good artist from Dominican Republic. Like this is a good question, you know, because.
But who decides what a Dominican artist looks like? Is it the record label who's like, this is the message we want to be sending to the world about DR? Like,
wow.
Or is it really her who creates her own persona? I always think when we're looking at people signed by major record labels, How much of it is what they're telling them to do? How much of it is their own artistic freedom?
We don't even know now.
Yeah.
We don't even know who is real, what is a real art. Would you doing that because you want to do it, because you're really connected, or what are you doing? Or you doing that because it's working?
Well, I think most artists whose main thing is doing stuff to get attention, that's produced by the label. Because the more attention you get, the more money for them.
Oh, yeah.
If you're an artist who really has your own original thing, you're not big on like, oh, everybody look at me. You want your art to speak for itself. So that's why I'm skeptical about. She's like, oh, look at me, I'm free. But yeah, but who someone tell you to go do that? Or is that really what you want to do as an artist?
Right.
I don't know.
Right. But also as an artist, we have this freedom that we want to express.
Yeah.
So as an artist too, as a painter, I identify myself. I just want to do whatever I fucking want.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to just take a green color. I know it's not complement. Like I know it's not supposed to be with the red, but I want to do.
But are you doing that so people will look at you, or are you doing because it means something to you? Wow. Or both?
Both. I think it can be both. Because for me, I want to do it, but also I want a little bit of attention.
Yeah.
Also,
that's fair.
Yeah, like...
but that's different from someone telling you, go do that to get attention.
Oof.
Like if you're commissioned by some major whatever art house or something, like... I feel like whenever, we always have to have that question when listening to these mainstream artists, like what is the label's involvement? And that's what I want to say though about the Balvin video first, that I think it's an unpopular opinion, but the fact that they did something that's very controversial, you have a song about, well, not really about dogs, but you have black women on leashes. You have Balvin, who's white passing, walking them on a leash. Who would ever think that that's a good idea? Obviously, to me, they did that so people will get upset, and then it would get attention for Tokischa. And look, it did. Now everyone's talking about her. Like, I don't really think it was... Like, I think they on purpose were like, we're going to do this to piss people off, and then they're all going to talk about her.
I'm with you. You know what? Because also, I hear that Tokischa say one of his interview, like, I sent to J Balvin a lot of songs, and he take Perra. He was the one who say, I want to do Perra because I think it's a good representation of what is that woman, powerful woman, Tokischa. She said that she sent to him, like, rock, like some pop, like... I don't know. And he said he want to make Perra. I don't know.
But who's the one who decided to put black women on a leash?
Right.
Who would ever think to do that?
That sounds bad.
Without being like, I just really think that was very much on purpose.
Bolinda of Rosalia.
Yes.
In a kind of way, Rosalia have this little liberation. Like she that kind of controversial thing to have
Christopher Columbus conquering La Hispaniola.
What? No, I think you got it.
It's replaying Columbus.
Wow.
Colonizing.
Wow.
No.
That's the...
Is it? I mean, but this is the thing. Is it purely cultural appropriation for a Spanish artist from Spain to come to DR, which was the first island that Columbus colonized?
Damn, you just
and make
blow
a
my mind
Dembow
right now.
Song. I think, yes, she's a cultural appropriator, but I don't think that's the end of the story. I think there's a lot more to what Rosalia's doing with these Reggaeton Dembow artists. I think it's much more complicated than she's a cultural appropriator.
Obviously, she noticed that she was doing a great job in the beginning. I love Rosalia in the beginning, amazing album, but she noticed that it's not popular of how crazy she is now.
Yeah. It was... So her first album, Los Angeles, was like pure flamenco, folky flamenco. Very beautiful. Then she had El Mal Querer, which mixed, it was still flamenco, but she had a little bit of a hip-hop, a little bit of reggaeton in there. Very creative.
Very creative. Like, it's one of the best albums of her, because she also have a whole thesis story, a book about it, like, and also the art. Each cover art was really religious. I mean, I have an inspirational religion.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so if we talk about El Marqués, so she's taking from this, let me see, this text from the 13th century Romance de Flamenca, which is basically, what does this say from that website I pulled? Story of a woman named Flamenca, married to this guy, Count of Bourbon. Everything seems fine until the wedding celebration itself suddenly goes apeshit in jealous rage. Lets her hair grow out, paces around muttering to himself. So Rosalia says, it got me thinking, almost anthropologically, centuries later, we have altered the ways in which we love and relate to other people, or are still acting the same way, or are we still acting the same way? So like, you get this concept, and you see this in flamenco music in general, that love, human relationships are very messy. They can be destructive. Love can destroy you. It can eat you up.
Wow.
And this is very much part of Spanish culture, and this is where I want to pull in Lorca. So Lorca is the end of the 1800s going into early 1900s. Mm-hmm. His poetry is very rooted in like the folklore of Spain, the tradition of like the spiritual tradition mixing the pagan, the Catholic, the Muslim, the Jewish, the Roman, all of it. Mm-hmm. And he has this idea that he calls the duende, which is this awareness of death, of the fact that we come from the earth, we come from the dirt, and that everything we do is kind of clouded by the inevitability of death. So we see these images like the moon. He keeps using the moon, like the moon is a symbol that death is coming. Mm-hmm. The night comes every night to remind us. He uses images of knives, of blood, that like destruction can happen at any moment. So the flamenco singer sings with the duende, the awareness that, you know, we can't escape death, and there's this pain. Even in love, there's this pain. Yeah. So she's carrying on that tradition. And she does it also, like she mentions Lorca in one of those songs in Que no salga la luna. She's talking about bodas de sangre. And then also she's tying in the mystical religious poetry of Juan de la Cruz. Like, so she redid one of his songs, one of his poems as a song. Yeah. She had a painting of him in Di Mi Nombre. But even like the mystical poets, Lorca says they continue the duende in the religious context. Ooh. Because the pursuit of God is like wrapped up in death. Like, we know we're going to die. Will we be with God? Will we have unity with him? Will the pursuit of God kill our ego? Like, so this is, I love that she's carrying on this very Spanish tradition of the duende and through flamenco.
And also in a kind of way, like, that reminds me how the Hispanic culture, like Spain culture, the Arab culture, in generally speaking, they have this interesting philosophy of be somebody in like, I don't know, something that feel your soul. Like, they're really into the drama in all the little, textbooks and all that kind of philosophy that they have. Because obviously Francisco have this period of black painting, but he was literally talking about death, literally talking about he's gonna die and somebody's looking for him, and he also was almost deaf. Like, there is a lot of stuff about this interesting culture of like being real with yourself. And Rosalia, she's also trying to do the same. That's interesting. In contrast with the culture of Caribbean, Dembow is a whole different.
Well, so here's the thing. So this is why, like, when I hear people say, like, oh, that's not her music, she shouldn't be making it. Like, I agree that she's capitalizing on the music of a people who, look, has been oppressed by her people. It's morally concerning. And yet, artistically, aesthetically, there is overlap. Because, I'm going to take from Lorca's essay on Duende. So he talks about this flamenco singer, and he's like, so the one he sings, he managed to tear down the scaffolding of the song, but allow through a furious burning duende, friends to those winds heavy with sand, that make listeners tear at their clothes with the same rhythm as the Negroes of the Antilles, the Antillas, in their right. He's talking about the religious rites of Afro-Caribbeans, huddled before the statue of Santa Barbara. So that kind of music used in Santeria and Voodoo, taking from drum patterns that are coming from West Africa.
Yeah.
But we hear that coming through today in a lot of the dembow, the reggaeton, some of the dance hall. So he's saying that the duende is there as well. This awareness of death, of the risk, of the danger, of love and sex and relationships. So when they make Linda, like, yeah, okay, she's a flamenco artist, but she has a sensibility that she has that flamenco sensibility she brings into the dembow song, and there is overlap, there is a similarity, but also it's the hand claps. It's like you have a dembow and then she brings in the hand claps, which is flamenco.
That's beautiful.
So like the line between appropriation and real cultural exchange, it's not always black and white.
Right.
We need to look closely at what's really happening.
Right, but also back to the music industry in a kind of way, it's entertainment. Like, okay, I guess there is a lot of history behind, but somebody who don't have any idea of all these things that are connected, they're gonna say, yeah, Rosalia just she want attention. She have a lot of this time. Nobody talk about her, so like let's do something that is controversial or
but that's the other thing that's fascinating, that when she's doing these songs where she's largely taking out the flamenco kind of sound and it's just reggaeton, it's just bachata, it's just
like con altura, con J Balvin.
Yes,
like what is the flamenco there?
I think she's trying to rub it in people's faces. She's like, look at what I can do. I'm going to take your music. What are you going to do about it? Why? Yeah. So it's like it's not like she doesn't know what she's doing. She knows it, and she's probably laughing that everyone's pissed off. And now she's getting attention. So it's like this kind of ironic, like, look at me. But the other thing that I wonder, though, it's like everyone gets very hyped up, like, this is wrong. This is morally wrong. But like, is music always supposed to be about being very morally upright? Like,
oh my god,
no. So I'm like, she's kind of poking fun at the fact that music art is not always about being morally sound. So when people point the finger like, oh, you're appropriating, it's wrong, like, well, yeah, she's an artist, she's supposed to be wrong sometimes.
Exactly. I mean, but also, like, I don't know, I think as a human being we're looking for something that represent me right, not wrong. You need to do it right, and all this, I don't know, it's like, it's also, listen, the way she is carrying with the heavy culture, the Spanish culture in her back. Like, if she just makes something wrong, obviously all the fans from Spain gonna be, Rosalia, you are just part of the everybody now. Like, now with this Rauw Alejandro, you are doing stuff that we not, and I don't know. Now she's just.
Yeah, and that, like, so then we can go to this question. So the fact that reggaeton really is international now, you know, like, I think Daddy Yankee was the first with Gasolina.
Absolutely.
Like, people all over the world were singing it, but then I think it was Balvin who got people using the sound, because
J Balvin using the sound,
he got people from around the world taking the rhythm of reggaeton and using it in their songs. So like, you see Justin Bieber, Ed Sheeran used it. But then I told you this, some recommendation come up on my Spotify for an Albanian artist. I don't even listen to Albanian music. I was like, oh, what is this? And it sounded like Rauw Alejandro or J Balvin. And I was just like, well, that's cool that this sound is so international. It's not cool that they're just taking it and don't make anything original. They're not putting a spin on it. They also don't really give props to where it comes from. So I'm like, how much is this good that this great music is going all around the world, but losing its roots? And now it's just kind of, it's just not there's not much nothing original.
Yeah, it's like back to what Bad Bunny is saying. Everybody wanna be from Puerto Rico now. Everybody wanna.
Yes.
Yeah, because we are with the reggaeton thing. Everybody wanna do the same with us because they know that reggaeton is the Latin. Now it's our moment. We can say it's the moment of the reggaeton because it's what is everywhere now. I mean, there is a lot of people they just dance it without know who is Alfa, but they love the rhythm of the Alfa. So it's like, they taking it because they know this is what is giving money right now. They know this is, I want to be as everybody because I guess I want the fame, I want the money.
Yeah, so now that we brought up Bad Bunny again,
right.
So when he had El Último Tour del Mundo, no, was it? It was the Pe fucking Ere one.
Oh.
The one in Puerto Rico where he had like the blow up of his head. I thought something was going to happen with that head. After Travis Scott, I thought there was going to be a repeat. But I was suspicious. But so what was he saying? He was like, yes, everyone wants to be Puerto Rican now.
Yeah. He was in that concert. I don't remember with who. I think it was Dicati? Dicati? Oh my god, maybe I said it wrong. There is a song that he have with Dakiti, exactly. And
Jay Cortez.
Exact, Jay Cortez, and he was with him, and after he finished, he just gets so excited and he starts saying, everybody wanna be from Puerto Rico, everyone wanna do the same that we are doing. Like, and also, I don't know if you heard about, but artists from Dominican Republic, have different idea of where music is supposed to go. Mm-hmm. If you, as an artist, have a feature with somebody from Puerto Rico, you get more international, okay? Because everybody want to have Puerto Rico as listeners.
Yeah.
There is Puerto Rico, Colombia. In Colombia, there is a big industry of music. Like, there is a lot of artists who want to touch Colombia as another, like, I don't know, culture fans.
Yeah. I think Colombia after Puerto Rico is one of the biggest
record
sources of
of
Latin
music.
American artists.
Yep.
But I mean, but his image is so, it's bigger than, it's just such a unique thing in itself. Like, you don't really see other people doing what he's doing. So let's think of some of the examples we said. Mm-hmm. First, let's take his social media.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff he posts, it gets a lot of attention because it's very outside of the box, very attention grabbing. Some of it I think is really absurd and even like grotesque, I would say, because like the pictures where it's like his eyes rolled in the back of his head, it's just like goes beyond the boundaries of like respectability, of normalcy. And he's just like, I'm going there. I'm going to do what's disturbing, what's not normal because I can. Yeah. I'm going to take pictures while I'm quarantining of me sunbathing naked because I can.
Yeah.
So it's like he loves pushing the boundaries and just going all the way to the fringes.
Yeah.
And I think, so then in the music, what I like is that the music goes to like the existential, the emotional fringes. Because on one end, he's like, I'm going to go crazy partying and I don't care about what anybody says. Like, I'm going to, like, Zafaera, like, you know, si un novio no te mame el culo. Like, I'm going to say all these crazy things. But then, Rolandito, he's like, who am I? I don't even know who I am. Like, I'm famous, I'm having fun, but I've lost who I am. So going back and forth to these extremes, I think he's just like, I appreciate him pushing the boundaries. And whether you like what he's doing or not, he's forcing you to think, like, what are we living for? Like, do we live intensely for anything, or do we just, like, do what's easy and comfortable?
Yeah.
He takes you all the way and be like, no, think about this. Are you going to go crazy, have fun? Are you going to question your whole life? Do something, but don't just sit there and be like, oh yeah, I'll have some fun.
Have some fun. Like, I don't think, looking just Bad Bunny as an artist, I think like he's another product, I can say, in general speaking, of like, I want to create 2 albums in a year. That's so crazy. Like, it
was 3 albums.
3 albums. Like, what? It's a lot. It's a lot of music. The people was getting crazy about that. And also, now with the social media that we now used to like get artists having this close relationship with fans. And one of the album that I really love, that's I know Sapphire, no, he is with Don Omar, La que no iban a salir.
Yeah.
That album is literally you're going to be in 2000s. It's the completely album is reggaeton, but reggaeton from this, like, from la mata, like, from the tree, like, it's really good reggaeton. So he noticed that we're looking for that. We are kind of tired of the pop music, of like, yes, reggaeton, but also you have an instrumental, like a beat. But Rauw is coming with that. It's like this fire. Yeah. It's like, I don't see Rauw trying to sing like a reggaeton or trap. He's more in the, it's completely different vibe. But like back to Bad Bunny, I think like it's beautiful when I see the last song of Yo hago lo que me da la gana, I do whatever I want, the hard one.
Oh yeah.
That song is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna tell you 10 music of crazy and we're gonna get blonde and we're gonna smoke weed, but then I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you, mom and dad, forgive me. Like, it's okay, Bad Bunny is sweet. I don't know if you noticed, he was crying in the concert where he was singing that song.
He?
Yeah.
Wow.
Everybody was like, wow, Bad Bunny, I love you.
Yeah. But then even beyond the social media, like, I think his whole persona is performance art.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's always performing, though. Something outrageous is always happening.
Do you think he's doing that intentionally?
Well, again, this is always my question. Is this him? Has the label constructed this persona? Because he is...
This is so interesting.
The 2020, he was the most listened to artist on Spotify.
Yes. I think he not the same reason, like the big artist this time. Like he'd be in the number one in Spotify for everybody.
Yeah. So it's like, is the label just trying to calculate what are all the things we could do to get the attention from the whole world? Like, is this an algorithm that they're using to make his persona?
Oh my God.
But this is my thing. Even if it's manufactured by the label to get them money, it's fascinating because it still speaks truth to... It makes you reflect on what our culture is. Going to these extremes, I think. Pushing the boundaries, going all the way and not trying to be like normal or respectable. I think it has value whether it's fake or not. But yeah, like the performative things he does. So like he's doing all these appearances on the WWE.
Oh my God, yes.
I think it's very interesting.
And also Simpsons, with the Simpsons cartoon.
Yes, the
video.
Simpsons. But also when Yo hago lo que me dé la gana came out, I think the first thing he did, he wore the basketball jersey with the date on it.
What?
No, it was... First, he posted a number on Twitter, and people are like, what is this? And then he wore the number on a jersey. And people are like, wait, is that like a date? And then he went on Jimmy Fallon. And then he's like... I think Jimmy Fallon was like, when is this coming out? And he's like, tonight. And that was the first time he announced it. So like...
Oh yeah,
he's doing all these provocative things.
Yeah. He's really mystery. But when you have something that a lot of people like, do you know who is? Obviously you know who is. Lo siento, bebé. With this beautiful, I think she's from Colombia too. Julieta. Who expect that? And in my life, I didn't expect something like that. That was really good featuring combination. Also with Aventura.
Yeah. That song could have been better, I think.
Right.
But still that he did it.
Right. Everybody gets so excited about that. But yeah, he used mystery. He used the surprise idea of like, I didn't expect that, but funny.
But then you were saying how, like, this question of who is the real him, how much of this manufactured. Yeah. So when he wrote for Tommy Torres...
Oh my God.
So what were you saying about how the music's different there?
Wow, I think like in each song of... Because not everybody know that Bad Bunny Benito is who wrote every song, basically. And also Tommy make the change, but... like everybody know the essence of Bad Bunny, like the essence of how Benito write about the broken heart, this interesting situation between my best friend and my girlfriend or what, something like that. And I don't know how hard maybe Torres was trying to make in his style. I noticed with Benito, like in every song I was like, Bad Bunny's here, like I can feel the way he is. But it's interesting that you also mentioned to me, like, who is original then? Like, who is really, how we can say everybody's trying to look for the most dramatic new music. Because no matter how hard, example of it is like, who make the song with El Alfa? Like, Trapea. Who is this guy? Tyga?
Oh, Tyga did that.
Yeah. Example of it is like, okay, he's in Dembow, right? Mm-hmm. For more that he trying to be part of the rhythm, he's Tyga. Like, he he's who he is. Like, no matter how hard Tommy Torres is how do you say balada?
Ballads.
Yeah, he's a really romantical guy. And I know Bad Bunny is studying him. Like, Bad Bunny...
So what if Bad Bunny made those songs him for himself? Would anyone care anymore?
Wow.
Like, if you make really beautiful, nice songs, is that enough to make you a popular artist today? Apparently not.
Probably not.
Because that's this other thing we were saying, that artistry today is not primarily about the art form itself. It's about the persona, the hype you can build around yourself. You're an entertainer.
Yep. And I want to bring Adele a little bit, because Adele is a woman who have a really good marketing. She really know how to be, because she not used to make controversial things. She's really just disappeared for 2 years, and then she have a new album. And then she is still having the thing of Adele, you know, she is still having the sentimental drama idea. And also one of her son, who is called, I don't know if you saw the video, Oh My God.
Yes.
Right. So it's kind of like, have a big of reggaeton that I noticed. And that's one of the songs that one of the people who work with her, like, you are too happy, like, just slow down a little bit. Like, that song sounds really good, really pop. Well, we need to, hello, it's you. We need that, you know, because they know what is selling. They know what is. It's like when Bad Bunny made Yo Hago Lo Que Me Da La Gana con The Rock.
Yes.
Yo visto como.
Yeah.
That was really, Bad Bunny, what is that? Why you changing the whole trap, reggaeton, now you doing rock, and that was really challenging.
Well, why do people want these entertainers? Why do people want this whole big package and not just a musician? What does that say about us? Like, are we just so blinded by consumerism that we're not satisfied until we can consume a whole package, a whole experience?
Wow.
That's my fear. I feel like we're trained to process art as commerce, as consumption, not as something beautiful in itself. Like, it goes back to this education thing. Are we educated to look at art as something meaningful in itself, something that points to something higher? Or is it just the same thing as going to the store and buying stuff? I think when you're not educated to look at art, it just falls into the mentality of the society that we want to be entertained, we want to be distracted. So if you make a beautiful song, but you don't give me this whole persona, this hype, there's nothing exciting about the song anymore. Even though objectively it's a beautiful song.
But it's not giving. Listen, like, I think you and I, and also more people, like, they really think about that. Like, they're really trying to figure it out. But there is some people that just maybe just consume. You know what I mean? They're just looking
and
for.
And don't ask questions.
And don't ask questions. Like, that have me, like, I'm clear about that. But also, I'm like, the Mona Lisa, the example, like, the Mona Lisa is a really beautiful painting, but for me, Leonardo was the one that I want to know more. Yes. Like, I want to know who is this guy. Tell me more about you. It's like Andy Warhol. Like, I was more interested about Andy Warhol than his work. Like, okay, your work is interesting, but I want to know you.
Okay, I think we can look at two sides of this. I do think, yes, there's this consumerist entertainment thing. But we also are fascinated by a story. We want art to be in the context of a human's story, their history.
Exactly.
So when you give an artist who makes this persona, perhaps it's false, but we're attracted to the storyline.
Oh my God. Yes, that's about it.
Why are we willing to Why do we accept a lot of these storylines which are false? Like they're constructed, they're manufactured. I think that goes back to this blindness of consumerism again. Because we know a lot of these stories are like when I look at Rauw and Rosalia and I repost their pictures, I know most of it's fake. Why do I settle for this fake story? Like, why don't I seek an artist who has a really profound story that's not based only on hype or something manufactured?
Wow.
I think it goes back to education.
Back to education. I don't know. You know what? I think that maybe there is another stream. I think there is another way to see it. Like, your result as artist, like your product, your music, tell about you. So there is no way that you can separate. For me personally, I think you cannot separate your art from the artist. I don't know. Yeah. Because for more that you try to separate, in your product, you have something of you. You have essence of you. So again, it's just maybe you and me and more people that are interested in the story behind, like why why the story is interesting. I think because we are trying to feel like you are the same as me. Like, I want to know that you suffer as me. Like you have depression as me. Like I want to know how human you are, the same I am. And that's I think why depression is popular. I don't want to say it's popular, but everybody have this kind of, oh my God, you sad. Everybody is sad. Like why you pretend that you're happy if you're not? Like this now. Oh my God, I can't be more deep than that now because the LGBTQ community now is a whole thing to make money of it. And I know it's hard to say it, but I know in a kind of way Bad Bunny is using that to make more money. What do you think about that?
So that brings us to the whole cross-dressing phenomenon. That, first of all, I think he's one of the first reggaetoneros to start this trend. Like, because he was the one painting his nails. Yeah. He dressed as a woman.
Yo perreo sola.
But now, like in the last month, I've seen 3 photo shoots. It was him, Rauw, and J Balvin wearing dresses. And I'm just like, my whole thing with cross-dressing is it's a symbolic gesture. It is an artistic gesture. It says something about human nature, that like there are boundaries that exist in nature, and we can cross them. We make a statement when we do it. What I don't like is that these are people under the control of major corporations who, when they cross-dress, it's not being done in this symbolic way. It's doing in this very bland, arbitrary way. It's not very creative or aesthetically pleasing. And I think it's these corporations saying, look, we can get rid of nature. We can erase the boundaries because we can. Because we have power. And we're not even going to try to make it interesting or meaningful. We're just going to be like, oh, look, we can make him dress like a woman. And then what annoys me is everyone's like, oh, look, he's standing up against machismo. And it's like, no, he's not.
Yes! Oh my God,
he put on a pair of heels and now he's challenged machismo. It's not that easy. And he doesn't even look good. He looks weird. He looks weird. A real cross-dresser would look interesting. Like, that's why I'm like, this is not very cool.
No. And then there's a lot of people who maybe think they are heroes. And maybe just for the money. No, maybe... And you know what is funny? Then when they go into interview, example of this Bad Bunny, when they ask about, why you dress like that, Bad Bunny? Why you are so controversial? And he said, no, because I want to be this guy. I want to be the guy that you think that you can do whatever you want. That's why one of my... Me da la gana.
I do whatever I want.
Yeah, it's like, I want to talk to that a small group of people who looking for you do whatever you want. Like, no, Bad Bunny, you know that nobody was doing that and you want to do that because...
But the thing that annoys me, I see a lot of young guys now painting their nails because he did it.
Yes!
And now they're like, oh, look at me, I'm so rebellious. And I'm like, you only did that because a celebrity did it.
Exactly.
I don't really think that was a very original thing.
Oh my God.
So it's just showing us how we're continue just to be... Like young people, when you're not educated, you just copy the celebrity without thinking like, wait, what does this mean? Why am I doing this?
Wow. I think the education is the big thing behind everything.
Yeah.
It is.
But again, at the end of the day, no matter how much he's manufactured, I respect that when you listen closely, when you look closely, he makes you look at these extremes of like, I think it's especially like generational, our generation, our culture, we either go towards this mindless pleasure, like just go all out crazy, or extreme self-consciousness and doubt of who we are and what life is about. And that we don't want to live in the middle. We don't want to live these boring lives. And I think
That's
it's like he's making the statement like, don't just settle in the middle, like go one way or the other, but be intense, like be extreme.
Wow.
What are we going to choose? What's going to really lead us to something fulfilling and satisfying? I don't know if he has the answer, but I like that he has the question, or he makes you ask the question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, why exactly we looking for the extreme? Because we also looking for that. I think also like music and all this manifestation of art is a result of us. Like the reggaeton is just a result of the society.
Yeah.
They're not talking about nothing new that is not real. Like, yes, they're talking about sex is real. They're talking about how the woman is. I mean, it's a result.
Yeah.
It's a result.
So I think this is the last thing we didn't say yet. So in terms of the power that record labels, people in power in general have over music, there is a very interesting thing that happened not too long ago with Ivy Queen, which is one of the earliest female reggaetoneras. So she's on a stage and she says, Latinas don't twerk. And she wants everyone to like repeat after her. And she's like, we hula hoop. So she means basically like whining, perreo. Which, sure, like if we were looking in particular at the styles of dance, they're not exactly the same.
Yeah, for me it's the same.
Yeah.
I don't see the difference.
But that's the thing. It's like, what do you mean by Latinas don't twerk? What if you want to twerk? But also, I do think, like, I read this racial charge into it. So she's like, well, twerking is not for Latinos. Twerking that's hip hop. That's for Black Americans. Yeah. But what's ironic is that reggaeton, first of all, she was dancing to a reggae song. She was dancing to the backing track of Murder, She Wrote, the Pliers Chakadima song, which is one of the biggest reggae songs, dancehall reggae, which is black music, first of all. Reggaeton doesn't exist without reggae and without hip-hop, because it all started not even in Puerto Rico. It started in Panama, where Jamaicans were immigrating. They were bringing dancehall reggae. And then they and the Panamanians brought it to New York, and then they mixed it with hip-hop, brought it to Puerto Rico. So to create these boundaries, to be like, oh, Latinos don't twerk. We do perreo, we whine, we do reggaeton. These boundaries are constructed by the record labels, who decided we're going to market reggaeton as this distinctly Latin. This isn't hip-hop. Hip-hop, that's for Black Americans. Reggaeton is Latino.
Yeah, it's different. I think it's part of the. We need to give something to people talk about. Yeah, we need something different. We need to. You like white, I like black. It's
you have to make these marketing categories. Who are we marketing to? Yeah. But it's also, there's a bigger history though of the governments in Latin American countries trying to exclude blackness.
Interesting.
Sure, there are Afro-Latinos, but do they really count as Latino? What about Black Americans? Are they one of us? No, we have our own thing. But again, and when we look at the history, when we look at the music, that's not the case.
Well, what about you? Do you like to feel and think that you are different, that you are...
Yeah, it makes you feel special.
It's make you feel special. It's make you... But special... If you don't know the story behind, you feel special. But if you know that, like, it's coming from Panama, it's coming from...
And ultimately, it's all coming from Africa.
Right, exactly. So it's like, no, it's not special. It's a combination of a lot of stuff. Yeah. So it's not unique. It's a combination of a lot of stuff.
And it's that, and I think this goes to the point that, like, without education,
exactly,
we're afraid of the complications of history, the complications of human nature.
Yeah.
We want to settle for these marketable categories. But again, when we really look at ourselves, when we look at our history, we see that there's a lot more than what is presented.
It's a lot. But do you think it's working? Do you think it's getting results?
I think I know a lot of young people are questioning all these categories.
Okay, that's good.
I think they're questioning the narratives they're being given.
That's really good.
But again, there needs to be a movement of people, especially in education, asking these questions, challenging the narratives, because otherwise we just fall into whatever the government, the corporate powers tell us.
Exactly.
And there's no real freedom then. There's no originality.
You know what is also the worst is like you start fighting for things that you don't even know what is the history behind. Like there is a lot of people who just fight for Latin things without knowing that the Latin culture is a lot of different things together. And at the end of the day, I don't know. It's not fundamental. You don't have. Yeah. You're just following.
Yeah, and I think then that raises the question of like, I know a lot of people get their history off of TikTok. And I'm like, why don't you get a book? Because it's not as accessible. It takes time, but anyone could say anything on TikTok. Doesn't make it true.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is why.
Oh my God. Do you think this is? I mean, I know that. Thank you to technology and all the social media, we are learning stuff in a different way of like parents and grandmas when they just sit down for monks to read something that we can just get in a 5 video in YouTube, like 5 minutes video, you get the whole history of something, and it's really good, it's productive. But I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, because without reading, you are jumping, you are just taking things like maybe it's.
But that's the thing, to learn, you do need to take your time to sit through. Like, I agree that it's great that TikTok and the internet makes it makes it more universal that people can have access. Yeah. But again, the way you're learning, the information, you're not taking it in a way that's really breaking down. Like, okay, well, what does this mean? What's true here? What is like? It's just I just be like, this is the answer. Watch for 30 seconds. The end. Send this video now to your friends.
Oh my God, yes.
I don't really think that's how we learn and take in real information, knowledge.
This is really interesting. Yeah.
So this was fun.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of things.
Damn, yeah.
So let's plug your stuff. So tell them, where can they find your podcast?
So I have a podcast called Socialmente Hablando. Yes. It's literally just social topic related to what is happening, or any topic, psychology or philosophy, or like political can be also. And it's in all platforms. Spotify is the more part, like where people used to go there and listen more. And you can just find me by Vitaly Lopez in social media, Instagram. I don't use Twitter, so it's just Instagram. I post my art, my painting, and the thing that I'm working on. Thank you so much.
Okay, and we hope we will have you again very soon.
Yay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.